I'm Piotr, co-CEO of Boldare, and you're watching Agile Product Builders Tech Edition, a 25-minute series for today's product builders. This time, we might stretch the time box because MCP is best understood when you see it in action, and our Swiss guest going to show us that one. So I hope you'll forgive us a little bit of delay. In this episode, we are diving into the world of quality assurance in the age of AI. In particular, we explore how Model Context Protocol, a new API for LLMs, is reshaping the way QA engineers test and ensure product quality. And our today's guest is Milena Cylińska, a QA engineer with over 10 years of experience and someone I've had the pleasure of collaborating with on several projects. And what makes Milena stand out is her mission-driven approach. She's not here to build massive testing departments or create bottlenecks. Instead, she embeds quality into every step of software development lifecycle. And above all, she's a true builder. So, Milena, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for the invite.
So let's start simple. Could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us how you became interested in experimenting with AI tools?
Sure. So I think you gave a pretty good introduction, so thanks for that. Yeah, so I'm basically a QA engineer, and I've been helping companies with their QA processes, test automation, and all this magic that is happening around assuring quality, basically. And yeah, what brought me to AI? Well, short story is that I realized that Playwright MCP exists, and ChatGPT before that, obviously. But longer story is that I think my journey, let's say, started in 2018 when I went for a QA conference that was about AI with my friends. And I must admit that I wasn't very excited. I mean, that was when I was listening to all those speeches and so on, I didn't see it coming, that we could actually use AI on a daily basis as we do nowadays. But yeah, back to the main topic. When I actually started using AI myself, like within my daily tasks was definitely when Playwright MCP was released.
Okay, so the Playwright MCP was this aha moment, and that is nice. And so, for those who are not familiar with Model Context Protocol, could you describe it in a simple terms to, how would you describe it to other QA engineers and engineering managers?
So people like to call it an USB-C or open AI standard for like that connects LLM and different tools. And by different tools, I mean that could be a database, that could be a browser, that could be as well just another app. Yeah, that allows the LLM models to actually perform tasks for us. So like if you could picture a ChatGPT, you can ask questions, you get answers, but ChatGPT itself won't, for example, go and book a flight for you because it's missing this connection. And this is what MCP does basically. So it's the connector between AI and other tools.
So can you tell us how this magic works for you in your daily QA workflow?
Sure. Actually, I have a demo for you. Let me just quickly share the screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Question. Cool. So we're going to see how MCP works, or actually MCPs work, how we can embed it in our QA processes. This is a very simple example because this is actually my website that we will be testing. Yeah, I would just, let's start from the point that I won't show you how to install all of those things, but this is quite simple. So if you go to extensions in VS Code, you have this section with MCP servers. Those three I have installed because we will be using those. But in here, you also have this tiny icon where you can browse other MCPs, and you can find many of those there. So yeah, highly recommended. It's quite simple. And yeah, that was, again, back to one of your first questions. That was something that brought me to the world of AI, let's say. How easy it is to set up an MCP nowadays within VS Code, for example. So yeah, that definitely convinced me to experiment with it more. And what we can see here, we will be using, as you could see, three MCPs, Playwright MCP, GitHub MCP, and Linear, to automate a very basic flow, which is what usually we do as QA. So we want to opening just search and see a Jira ticket or any other project management software ticket. We want to write test cases for it. We want to manually explore the app, and we want to automate those test cases as well. Later on, obviously, commit the changes and push the PR, create a PR. So
basically, from the ID that you're showing us, you can reach through LLMs, you can reach to GitHub, you can reach to Linear, and also to Playwright, right? So you have one environment which is enhanced into these three different tools, right?
Exactly, yes. And for that, I hired two agents. You can see them here. One is a tester. Let's say it's a manual tester that normally would create test cases, do some exploratory testing, maybe create a bug ticket as well if it finds a bug in the software. And we also have this Playwright tester. So this is our test automation engineer, let's call it. I already mentioned that I kind of hired two agents. What those agents do, you can see in here. So it's a simple MD file where you can tell the agent who they are, what they should do, and what kind of tools they have. So you can see here that this is a manual tester. It's going to use this model. I think a tip in here from me would be to do some research on the models as well, because they have different purpose. You can check which one matches your vibe, your task the most, and choose it. Obviously, some of them are more into reasoning or more for agents like this one. Others may be more generic, more high level. So that's definitely something I would check before using a model. And then we have the tools. So basically, we let this agent use, as I mentioned, the three MCPs that I mentioned, and also edit or search through the repository. And this is a quite long file because I was trying to avoid any hallucinations. I just wanted to be very specific, but let's just quickly go through this. As I mentioned, we are going to test my website, and we're going to use Playwright to navigate through this website. The role of this agent is a manual QA tester. I also describe what kind of tone I would expect from it, what kind of format it should have, and yeah, in case it's trying to hallucinate a bit, I was trying to stop it. And we have the tools that I already mentioned here and how it's going to use those. Some security and constraints for the agent. So, for example, never spill out the API keys and so on. And the workflow. So I guess this is the most important part. I wanted it to strictly follow the order of this workflow, and what it's going to do is going to first gather the context. So it will go through the code base. It's, well, at the moment it's a pretty empty repository, but in the future it can also get the context from the repository. And use Playwright to navigate through the app that it will be testing. And I also let it know what kind of output I would expect on the stage. Then we have test planning. So this is where we reach out to Linear, and Linear is this kind of project management tool, let's say, like Jira and so on. So I have a very simple project created there, and I wanted to gather the context from Linear by itself to get the acceptance criteria about my website. And I want to, I ask it to convert each acceptance criteria, into a test scenario, or actually test scenarios. I also asked about paying more attention to some missing context and so on. The first step is exploratory testing. Actually, I think I should change the order of those two, because exploratory testing I usually we should do without the context, without the acceptance criteria, but it's another thing. And in here, it will just navigate around the app and do some exploratory testing, including, I believe, edge cases. Yeah, here. And yeah, check if there are any weird things happening. Almost the last step would be the test case design. So basically we want a list of test cases that in this format, this particular format that I mentioned here. And potentially we would like to automate those test cases later on. The last step, in case something goes wrong, we should definitely report a bug. But before we report a bug, we would like to check if this bug report already exists in our tool. So that's the workflow.
So you mean the bug exists in Linear, or?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, great.
Just not to duplicate them. So that's the first workflow. And the second is for test automation. This one is a bit simpler. we want to convert the manual test cases into playwright scripts. Same schema. So the agent has a role, tone. We know what kind of output it has, and in here I mentioned some best practices that I like to follow or that are recommended by Playwright. And again, the tools that it should use, we should, I mean, our agent, not really we, should get, again, the context from the repository, should find the locators on the website, so not to hallucinate about those, because this sometimes could happen if this prompt is not super clear. We want to use page object pattern in here, so we also need to create files with tests, and we need to also create the page object. So this is mentioned here. And obviously we need to implement the test with some roles mentioned here. What is important from my point of view to make this agent more autonomous would be to ask it to stabilize the tests, because it will write some kind of test. But if you don't run it and make sure that the test actually passes, it doesn't bring that much value, in my opinion. So I ask it to test those tests that it creates by running them, and in case something goes wrong, like there is some flakiness or wrong locators, it should fix itself. So this kind of auto-healing mechanism. Yeah, then we also should run the whole test suite, because sometimes, we already have some tests in our code base. We are adding new ones. We will be reusing some of the code that already exists. We really don't want to break the existing tests. So to make sure that the old tests still pass, we need to run them all. And the part that is also super cool, we want to commit our changes and create a PR. So I would say that's pretty much what we normally do as QAs, or this is the actual testing software part.
So basically now you can go to Swiss Alps, and enjoy the sun and the mountains, and the agents will gonna do the work for you.
Yes, kind of. But let's see how it works.
Let's see how it works, right?
Yeah. So I prepared in here a very quick prompt. And as you can see on the right-hand side, we have this chat where we can choose which of our agent we want to use. First of all, we obviously need a tester, manual tester, who will get the context, write the test cases, and do some exploratory testing around the app. In here, I specifically mentioned that I want the whole tester workflow, so the workflow that we have in this file, triggered, and I want to only run those tests for the home page. So in here you have this, again, small button where you can run the prompt in current chat. So let's click it and let's see what it is going to do. In the meantime, when it's thinking, I just want to mention that you need to make sure that all your servers are up and running. So it can use the MCPs. What we are getting here, obviously, the agent is asking us to for the permission to use particular MCPs. You can allow it, which means that it's like a one-off. I mean, each time it asks you, you have to allow it to do the action, but you can also allow the action in the whole session, in the whole workspace, or like in general, always. I'm gonna just, because I want to demo this part, I'm just gonna use the simple allow button. And what it should do, it should open my website, which it did. And it took a screenshot. In my instruction, it was specifically said that I want to have a screenshot of the website that it's testing. And in here, we have exactly what's happening in linear. So it was trying to find ticket that has home in its name, and it found one, which is great. And in here, it's giving us some context. So the output that I asked him for, I don't know why I'm saying him, but anyway. So the assumption, obviously, we are testing my website, no authentication required, and so on. And everything that the home page contains. We have the test planning. So it says, okay, I found the ticket with this ID, with this title, sorry, this one, and it has some acceptance criteria. This is basically what I put in the ticket. Based on those acceptance criteria, it created test scenarios for me and said which of those are good candidates for test automation. And it also mentioned some missing acceptance criteria, which, yes, I didn't mention in the ticket, my bad. And it should proceed to the exploratory testing now. I think it should do it automatically, but this is possibly a glitch now. So let's ask it to proceed to exploratory testing. And yeah, it should, sorry, let me show you, because it should, you should see that it is navigating through the app. It should test some of the inputs here, mandatory fields. Let me just take a bit longer. And yeah, that was actually one thing that I was a bit annoyed on the very beginning, because it's quite a long process when it does the testing sometimes. But on the other hand, if you think about it from the perspective that you don't have to do all those things, you can just focus on something else. You can focus on creating documentation, reviewing other acceptance criteria. It's just like, yeah, something that is happening in the background, and then you just have to review it. Obviously, it's a live demo, so I decided to just be extremely slow. Okay, but we are getting there. So it found the contact form that I have on my website, and it would like to test it, for example, with a very, very long value of some text box. So let's allow it to do so. Yeah, and it will just try to send me very weird messages in the meantime. It's also taking screenshots for me. They are later on saved in the Playwright MCP folder, so I can go through those. Yeah, and again, another test case that it wants to run. Okay, perfect. As you can see, it's using Playwright MCP here, and as well taking screenshots for those. And we have some findings that are produced out of the exploratory testing, and it would like to proceed to test case design next. So let's do that. Let's proceed. And we should get
It's still, while it works, right, or him, it still amazes me that that you can have this different context, you can reach this different context and have such a work. So actually, are you able to say to us how much time did you save on with such approach?
It really depends. You need to do some pre-work for that. You need to make sure that you have the documentation, that your agent gets the context, which is very important. But I would say also from my perspective, because I work for many projects, I work with many companies, and you very often need to do a very similar onboarding to every project. I would say that the tasks like this one, so for example, to get some context, the documentation, create the test cases, automate them. I think I would say it's 60-70% faster now. I'm saving days sometimes because I think like QA engineers would definitely agree with me that obviously like creating documentation, it's super time-consuming moment, like especially the test cases, and it can be a bit boring. So I treat this as a base, obviously. So it allows me to focus more on actually coming up with some edge cases, or chatting with the business to get the business context, to participate in user interviews, to be closer to what actually users need. I have this base that it's very, those test cases could be possibly applied to 95% of the websites that I would test. But in the meantime, I can just focus on something that is very specific to the business.
Yeah, but you mentioned there is a need of documentation. I would say that finally, we use documentation, and it really has to be up to date. And it's also, this is this great times when actually, developers are using documentation as well, and they are also trying to automate how we create documentation. So I think finally we can share some of the artifacts between each other, and this is because of the AIs, and we can finally focus on things which are, like you said, edge cases or something like that. So what do you think? Is it possible within, I would say, maybe few years that your job will not be anymore testing, but you will be just orchestrating, agents through MCP or whatever it's going to be with AI?
If you want me to be completely honest, maybe if I was testing my own website.
Okay.
But it's a cool thing to do. It's very, it saves lots of time to do those things. As I mentioned, like it makes you focus on the things that are more creative. But I still don't think that most of the projects nowadays have the capacity of apply this approach. Very often we have, as you mentioned, missing documentation. Now with this, let's say, AI assisted flows, we kind of need to shift the we need to shift our work left in the software development lifecycle. We need to focus more on documentation, refining the requirements, tickets, keep them in more organized way, definitely. But I think the testing is only part of the whole, QA role. It gives you a really nice base, but I still think that it would be nice to do some real manual checks, because in the end, you're creating software for people in most of the cases, right? The people will use your app, and you want to make sure that you have this human touch, especially around testing. And I think maybe with development, that would be easy for AI to take over. But with testing, I'm still a bit hesitant to say so.
Okay, so still, ownership is on your side and you cannot like fully let it go. And also what you mentioned, most of the job is there's still missing context that we have to do, like the documentation in order to automate. But in these cases, when you already have it, do you think your role as a QA engineer is more strategic, or you're just being, much faster with this tool?
I would say it's both. It's definitely much faster, as you can see here. My role is definitely more strategic because I'm focusing more on, first of all, reviewing whatever is being created by AI, but also it's more strategic because you need to focus on the business, on the requirements, documentation. You need to still, like, as you see, I created those chat modes, but to create those, you still need to have all those skills, which is not only test automation, but also test management. You need to know the best practices. You still need to know the coding, but more from the position where you actually oversee the whole process. So I would say that's that's definitely strategic. And yeah, on the other hand, it's way faster to review than to create something from scratch.
Okay. So the last question, if there is someone who never tried MCP with Playwright and other tools, what is your advice? How to start?
I think the way I started was quite decent, and I could recommend it. So I would definitely try out the VS Code and play around with Playwright MCP. That's I think it's a really interesting experience. As well, Playwright MCP has lots of YouTube videos, lots of materials that you can reuse and learn from them. So that would be my go-to MCP.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, Milena, thank you for showing us how the MCP works as for QA engineer. It's really fascinating. I wish we had some more time so you could show us more. But I think that glimpse is already something which is great. Really great to see how many aspects today tools can reach out and how it can help us be quicker and focus on things that matters. Thank you for being with us and sharing with us. And if you're curious about MCP, our audience, please let us know. We can help you also. Milena can point out some other maybe URLs that if you need to. Thank you very much. This was Agile Product Builders Tech Edition. I'm Piotr and Milena. See you next time. Bye-bye.